Good afternoon. Happy Easter Sunday to you guys. I am Robert Scribbler, your reporter on all things waves, weather, climate, and the beaches here in the Outer Banks, and I am joined by my co-reporter Crow here, who will be sitting here purring through most of our session today on Easter, April the 9th. And I thought that Easter Sunday, April the 9th, would be a good day to reflect on my adventures here, my winter surf adventures here in the Outer Banks in 2023. So, what does it take to surf here in the Outer Banks? Apparently, a 27-year-old wetsuit, 2 3 millimeter, a hood, some booties, some gloves, and a brand new Lost Rocket Redux, and some serious, crazy intestinal fortitude, maybe. I don't know what I have that inspired me to get out here in the ocean, but maybe it was just years and years and I don't know, a couple of decades of being away from the ocean and the sense of missing it growing more and more in my heart over time. So when I finally got back here to the Outer Banks, it was time to go on an adventure. And man, what an adventure it has been. Um, 33 surf sessions from January to now. I'm riding any wave that's rideable. I'm getting out there. If there's a wave in the ocean and I've got time to go surf, I'm getting out into it. Doesn't have to be the perfect wave, not an ideal day, just a day. Just a day where I can catch a wave, where I can practice my surf. And man, has it been good. So how did it start? Well, I did get a GoPro, was super excited to mount it on the nose of my Lost Rocket Redux and start practicing and getting shots and learning from my mistakes. And went down to Avon in 2 to 5 foot waves and got this fun crazy barrel wipeout, which was pretty awesome. Nice day out there, wasn't too crazy cold. A couple other surfers in the water. We were all laughing at each other as we were dropping into these pretty sick barrels and mostly getting swallowed up by them. But it was a good day for practice, for bottom turns, and just for bravery. But I don't know, some days you find the right spot and get a good ride. And here's another one from the tip of my board a few weeks back, or a couple weeks back now. A nice glassy wave in the morning time. Just some gorgeous surf out there off of Jeanette's Pier. And more just getting into the groove, finding nice spots even on non-ideal days. This day was not at all ideal, but somehow managed to get a good ride. And then yet another nice backside over here at Jeanette's Pier on another day. So 33 surf sessions so far for 2023, goal being 150 this year. I don't know, maybe I'll exceed it, maybe not, but um, we are almost on track for 150. We're going to have to step it up as we get more and more into spring and summer. And we are certainly going to do that. Lately, been averaging about 4 surf sessions a week, and we're going to try and step it up as the weather gets better. But I gotta admit, I was a little apprehensive about surfing in the wintertime. And there were certainly some very cold days when you're like counting the fingers on your hands that have turned white from the numbness. You know, it's a 1 finger day, a 2 finger day, a 3 finger day, or counting your toes and seeing what's gone numb, feeling maybe a little bit more sluggish than you should when you get out of the water. But every day surfing is a good day, even when it's in the cold water. And I've just got to say, I'm just so grateful to be here and to have this opportunity in my life. I'm 50 years old, and in some ways, I've never felt better. Um, so if you're thinking about doing the surf thing, you got maybe some injuries that you're pushing through. I've got a sticky hip, and didn't let it get in my way. Just did the exercises, worked through it, um, did all the things to help recover. We do hot yoga, which is amazing. Hot yoga here in the Outer Banks is awesome. Um, and I've just got to say that it's been totally worth it, from the wipeouts to the rides, all of it, and never going back, never given up. All right, so let's get into the wave report for today and talk about conditions. I actually did get some video down at the ocean front. It's in my YouTubes, but I don't know. I probably should have pulled up some shots of these massive roaring waves that are breaking at Bathhouse and Jeanette's Pier. We've got big waves in the range of 5 to 8, 6 to 8 feet here off of Nag's Head and Jeanette's Pier. And then further south, waves up to 12 feet after a very consistent, strong, and gale force northeast wind coming in out of the northeast for, let's see, Friday, Saturday, and now into Sunday. So 3 days straight of northeast winds pushing up some big swells. The storm is heading offshore. We are getting beautiful clear blue skies as the winds blow here in the Outer Banks. We've still got gale warnings up for most of the coastlines, gale warnings and storm warnings. So gale warnings north here in Nag's Head, gale warnings down on the Pea Island National Wildlife Refuge all the way down to Hatteras Island, and then south of Hatteras Island down to Wilmington, we've got storm warnings. For the southern Outer Banks, we've still got some rainfall occurring right here where we are in Manio, Nag's Head, clear skies. And so the storms are moving offshore, and we're going to get into a steady period of more calm, more clear conditions. And the wave conditions are likely to get a lot better over the next couple of days, particularly I think as we get into Tuesday. So the storm has passed, and now see my surfer smile. I am grinning because we're going to get 3 to 6 foot waves on Tuesday, 4 to 6 foot waves. It's going to be fun. I really want to get out there. Can't wait for it. Monday might be too rough, but I don't know. Maybe we can find a sheltered beach somewhere and get a surf session in. We'll see. In any case, let's get to the Earth Null School model. I just did want to show you some of these winds. The winds are very strong out here in the North Atlantic as a frontal system, the frontal system that has spawned this nor'easter. We've got a high pressure system to the north, a front that's draped over the southeastern US, and some tropical moisture, some tropical thunderstorms getting sucked up into it as well, providing their own energy. And sustained winds over the ocean right now in the range of about 50 miles per hour near the front. So very strong northeasterly winds still raging across a large swath of the North Atlantic. This system is expected to slowly move on off to the east and northeast and leave behind it a very nice swell. So thank you, Nor'easter. All right, looking at the geocolor composite provided by NOAA, you can see that big bright front sweeping down across the North Atlantic and into the southeastern US, tapping into that Gulf moisture. It's going to head on out, although it's going to leave behind another impulse of storminess that will track into the Gulf later on this week. And looking at the enhanced cloud tops, you can see that most of the tropical moisture that was heading toward the west here is getting sucked up into the frontal system, providing some energy for it. And we've got the next impulse of storminess moving in through the central US and another impulse coming in through the Pacific Northwest. The tropics are starting to fire up here with some thunderstorms. Of course, we don't have any tropical weather forecast, but it is worth noting that some of the intertropical convergence zone is showing activity, our increased activity for this time of year. All right, let's get down to our local observations, and we're going to start out at Jeanette's Pier, as we usually do. And heading on north to Jeanette's Pier, right now we've got waves in the range of about 5 to 8 feet. The primary swell is coming in at 8 seconds. That is a 9-foot swell that is coming in out of the northeast. Winds right now very strong out of the northeast. That is a 27 mile an hour wind, very strong. Air temperature is 54 degrees, and with that strong northeast wind pushing across the Gulf Stream, We have ocean water temperatures warming up to about 56 degrees Fahrenheit, so warmer Gulf Stream waters getting pushed in by those storm winds. Weather conditions right now mostly sunny, breezy. We've got northeast winds in the range of 20 to 30 miles per hour, and temperatures today expected to be in the middle 50s. Heading on south past Coquina Beach and Oregon Inlet to Rodanth or Rodanthe, we've got waves in the range of 5 to 8 feet for a spot observation. And then at Avon, for a more detailed observation, we've got waves in the range of 5 to 9 feet with a 9-second primary swell coming in out of the northeast. That is a 10.5 foot swell. Winds near gale force out of the northeast at 34 miles per hour. That is a cross-shore flow with an onshore component. Air temperature right now at Avon, 54 degrees. Ocean water temperature a tick up with those northeast winds pushing in some of those Gulf Stream water influence. Some of that Gulf Stream water influence at 64 degrees Fahrenheit. It's partly sunny down there at Avon. We've got a slight chance of rain at 20%, highs in the upper 50s, northeast winds at 20 to 35 miles per hour. And then heading south to Buxton, we have once again the big wave spot in the Outer Banks at 12 foot. So 12-foot waves at Buxton being driven by a primary swell coming in out of the northeast at 9 seconds. There are gale force conditions right now at Buxton. We have 38 mile per hour northeast winds. That is a solid gale. Air temperatures at Buxton also 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Ocean water temperatures a tick up at 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Weather conditions for today, partly sunny, highs in the upper 50s. Northeast winds 25 to 40 miles per hour, 20% chance of rain. And then for our last spot observation, we have 4-foot waves at Billy Mitchell being more sheltered from those northeast winds. So we've got some wraparound swell moving into Billy Mitchell in the range of about 4 feet. Isn't that right, Crow? All right, heading on to our climate and longer term forecasts and observations. Right now, the global climate system is 0. About 0.3 degrees Celsius above the 1981 to 2010 reference period average, so warmer than normal. The Arctic is warmer than normal. The tropics are warmer than normal. The Arctic is a bit cooler than normal, but overall the globe considerably warmer than normal. And I did want to show you Greenland, which right now is experiencing much warmer than normal temperatures. Some readings near the ice sheet in Greenland by tomorrow expected to reach above freezing on the southwestern side of Greenland, with a ocean storm pulling in warm air from the ocean system and then hurling it over the ice sheet. Much warmer than normal conditions here in Greenland right now. So I did want to note that for you guys. And then looking at the lower 48, I did want to show you the 6 to 10-day temperature outlook. Here in the East Coast region, we're expected to see rather above normal temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days and somewhat above normal precipitation for the US Southeast and the Gulf Coast region with below normal precipitation out west and for the Ohio River Valley. Looking at the quantitative precipitation forecast, we get an idea where the storminess is expected to be over the next 7 days. And it looks like hotspots in the Gulf Coast region and extreme southeast, as well as the Pacific Northwest. So watch out for storms in those areas. As for convective analysis and thunderstorms, we don't expect to see too much today, although there's some risk of thunderstorms running up from Texas through Oklahoma, parts of Nebraska and Kansas, Iowa and Missouri, and for southeast Florida, central and southeast Florida, but nothing too crazy. Looking at the global forecast system model for the next week, we see the nor'easter heading offshore with high pressure building in by tomorrow, conditions warming through tomorrow and into Tuesday as calmer weather begins to dominate. We do have some storminess over the Gulf of Mexico. This appears to be a bit less organized than in previous model runs. So just kind of thunderstorm activity for parts of the eastern Gulf of Mexico on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Clear and warm conditions for the Outer Banks during all of those days. The high pressure moves off by the weekend and looks like we might get some storminess by Saturday and Sunday. Doesn't look like anything too severe. Um, just mainly looks like a chance of showers and thunderstorms. As another impulse moves through the central US with a frontal boundary sweeping across central US, dragging into the Gulf of Mexico, and then creating generally more stormy conditions for the US East Coast by Monday of the following week. And of course, this is pretty far out in the model, so we are in grain of salt territory. All right, let's look at the wave forecast. And right now we've got some pretty crazy swells in the near offshore environment in the range of about 9 to 13 feet. And onshore we've got 4 to 12-foot waves. So very powerful rough surf out there. If you guys do head out, please make sure that you have the skills you need to handle, very rough surf conditions. As we get into the day tomorrow, waves are expected to start to calm down a little bit. Not super calm, still in the range of 7 to 10 feet in the near offshore environment. So we'll still have some rather large waves breaking across the Outer Banks tomorrow, even as we get into the evening hours. So very slow transition to smaller waves. And then finally, by Tuesday, it looks like the waves start to tamp down in the 5 to 6 foot range in the near offshore environment. It looks like Tuesday is going to be a really good day for surf with those wind conditions very calm, high pressure right overhead, and warmer weather. So Tuesday just looks like a really good day for waves. Hopefully, it will line up as the models are indicating. Okay, then on to Wednesday. We do have the swell starting to tamp down a bit into the 3 to 4 foot range, although I still think with that orientation directly from the east and those calm conditions, these waves are likely to be very good on this is Wednesday. Wednesday, and then into Thursday, looks like wave height's getting smaller. So likely 1 to 2 foot, maybe 1 to 3 foot waves at most of the beaches by the time we get into Thursday. And then by the time the weekend rolls around, it's actually looking kind of flat, which is not exciting. All right, so thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX Wave Report. It is an Easter session. I did talk to you about the fun I've had with my 33 surf sessions so far this year, goal being 150, and we'll see if we can get there. But we are well on our way, aren't we, Crow? And as I always do, I'd like to ask you guys to please do everything you can to help defend our beautiful coastlines from the impacts of climate change, which are driven by fossil fuel burning. And the primary action that we can take to tamp back climate change is to rapidly transition to clean energy. Clean energy being wind, water, solar, and electric vehicles. And we also have a push now for the mass deployment of electrolyzers to produce green hydrogen, which can help us a lot with our materials production, I believe, at first. And you know what? I did want to show you one thing on my Twitter since I'm talking green energy. Let's go to my profile here because it does look like the major automakers are making a lot of clean vehicle announcements. And I did see this one recent set of clean vehicle announcements coming out from Chevy. Chevy Silverado EV looking like a really solid electric vehicle with around 400 miles of all electric range and a lot of features that are very appealing. Um, I really do hope that the major automakers do double down on the electric vehicles. With the Ford F-150 Lightning, it looks like they're already sold out for this year, and I think their planned production was 150,000 vehicles, and that just got sucked right up. So a lot of demand for those electric trucks, and I believe Tesla is also slated to start producing the Cybertruck this year as well. So just a lot of really fantastic electric vehicles coming out. Right now, I'm driving a Tesla Model 3, no complaints, no regrets, zero, none whatsoever. So the clean energy revolution is, I don't know, for me, not so much about sacrifice as it is about taking responsibility and then reaping the rewards from taking responsibility. for my family, for Kat and I, the movement to clean energy has been very beneficial. And it's not just beneficial individually, it's also beneficial to helping to save the coastlines that we love. So thank you for joining me for this Easter Sunday session of the OBX Wave Report. I hope you guys have wonderful surf sessions out there today.